Hi, and welcome to Android Coliseum Hangout number 95, coming to you on Wednesday, October 22nd. It's been a very strange day today. We've got two of our Coliseum members were affected. Sylvain is not here. We're not sure how it works, but Corporal Nathan Cirillo was shot and killed while on duty today. He was a reservist from Hamilton, and our thoughts are with his family. And Martin, you were right in the middle of that, on lockdown until 4:30?
At least 4:30, I'm just a block away. They lifted it for a couple of hours, and then they reinstated the lockdown from what I know. So apparently a lot of people are still on lockdown now, and some people are still in their offices waiting to go home.
Yikes. And then, Tom, you had exciting weather on the West Coast.
Yeah, we had a massive windstorm that pretty much put more than half of the whole Metro Vancouver area out of power. My wife used to work for BC Hydro, so she brought up the map, and there was like over 170 reports all around Vancouver and Surrey of all blackouts. And like, look at the map of like BC, it's just red dots everywhere. Like, it was brutal. Surprisingly enough, my work and my house were like the only people spared in this blackout. It was amazing.
Wow.
Today the chance to enjoy no device time.
And what about, like here, it was a really nice, calm day. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, pretty uneventful. I mean, like most in Canada, I think we spent most this morning trying to keep up with the news was going on. But yeah, for right now for me, it's been a hectic week. It's small business week for those of you across Canada who run a small business. So we've been chock full of activities, and I've been running left, right, and center. So trying to keep updated on today's happenings was kind of hard to do. But yeah, because I think Cass was right. Our thoughts are with the family and those who are affected in Ottawa. That's just shitty. And I want to say thanks to folks like Sylvain, who's a military man himself. So people who literally put their lives on the lines for us. So. Anyways,
Yes.
somber note. Let's go with something funner.
Oh, well, okay. How do you transition out of that?
I don't think you can. But we will muster on.
Humble Bundle, Mooble Bundle. So, currently at just under $3 for 6 games. And the charity this time is the American Red Cross. So it's all zombie-like games. Are you guys interested? Not interested?
Nope, not even remotely.
I'm usually an insta-buy for these mobile bundles, just cause. I mean, for $3, I'm getting 6 games. I mean, whether I play one game or not, what I really like about it is the fact that I can install the Humble Bundle app on my son's phone and let him install those games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna put them on my phone sometimes, but I let him a chance to play. He really likes that Leo's Fortune from last go around, so like for that alone, it's kind of worth it. For $5, I usually give out. So it's $3 for 6 games is a really good buy. I'm looking at the games. I mean, it's all Halloween based. I don't think there's anything I would really probably ever play myself, but $3 charity.
How about you? Anybody else? Tom?
I've never bought a humble bundle before. To be totally honest, I've just never really knew what it was, and I don't really go on the App Store all that much. So I just,
I'm on the App Store all the time, but I mean, I'm not the humble bundle type of guy, especially if they're zombie games. I'll just pass them up.
Yeah, I do more Humble Bundle books. And I think the comics would be kind of cool, too. But, yeah.
I always just do the games for the phone.
I like books. Well, so we're on the not on the Humble Bundle. We have to be more positive, because I find that recently we just haven't been that positive. It's like, meh. So, Gmail. Oh, Tom, come back, because you're going to talk about Gmail.
yeah.
So Gmail is getting Exchange and Inbox, or Exchange and getting an Inbox app I'm pretty pumped. Like, they're actually turning Gmail into a Samsung app.
Words.
Are you excited about this, Tom?
Well, I'm more concerned than excited because Google's going to drop their the native email app that's for like Exchange and stuff like that, right? Focus on mainly just Gmail and leave it to other companies to have their own third-party mail apps as well. People like Samsung, they tap into the generic Android open source email app, and they kind of build on top of it, and that's how you get your like active notifications and stuff like that on your lock screen. On like TouchWiz, you'll have like number 1 or 2 on top of your email icon if you use that. And Sony does the same thing. So if sorry guys, I'll have to come back to me later.
Kids rule.
Yeah. I mean, to further what Tom is saying, I mean, Gmail getting Exchange, I'm excited about that. I mean, I'd rather have one app than several.
It's about time.
And I know Martin's been big on posting a lot of different apps that do a lot of all-in-one, because like you can get like the AOSP email app, and I think you can import some Gmail. But again, I think because you're using your Gmail account anyway, your Google account anyways, so it's automatically set up in Gmail, so you can't get rid of it out of the Gmail app and put in something. So I'd rather have it all in one. It'd be kind of so much fun.
And the fun thing with the inbox part of the Gmail that they're going to be bringing with the Gmail 5.0 is that they're going to be unifying your mailbox. So your emails, your notification, your messages, your text messages, everything is supposed to jointly show up in there. That's what I'm looking forward to.
I keep seeing people talk about inbox as being Gmail plus Google now and having that sort of thing. I'd like to see if when Gmail becomes an email aggregator and inbox comes in, are they going to start doing that with all the email accounts you do in Gmail for inbox?
Yeah, it does sort of sound like BlackBerry Hub, and I do have that with my Samsung email. Like, I can just have everything in a combined box. But this sounds interesting. And Tom, I see you're back. Got a comment there for us?
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My son was just going to bed. He wants to say goodnight. So what I was saying is, so the Android open source email that usually comes to tap into that, and that's how we get our notifications on the desktop and stuff like that. Like I was saying, Samsung, you have like number 1, 2, 3, whatever, how many emails you have that's unread. With that being gone and Gmail basically ruling them all, that may take it away from the phones. Like on my Sony phone, I'm using the stock email, not Gmail, just because Sony kind of adds their little extra bits on top of that. They add their own UI on top of it. And of course, you got your notifications, and they add little special perks that only they offer, right? And basically, that's taking that tool away from Sony and Samsung. So either they're going to have to say, okay, well, we'll just give in. You'll get Gmail, but we're not going to have your notification numbers on it or badges and stuff like that. Or it will just make them have to kind of produce their own email app for their skin if they really want to go that far. And I see Ryan's got a comment, so I'll leave it to Ryan.
Well, I was just going to say, question, like, so when you're using the Sony email app for your Gmail as well, like, how do you not get the Gmail app to also sort of duplicate that, right? Because when you log in on the Android device with your Google account, it automatically sets up your Gmail with that account.
Yes.
Like, do you have to go into the account settings and turn off Gmail syncing?
I did that, and I also disabled Gmail and the apps menu as well. So I actually have it disabled. I'm not using Gmail at all. And at first I was thinking this is kind of a bad idea, right? But Sony actually has push put onto their email, so it's not 15-minute cycles. It's actually proper push, and because you have it on Sony, it works with their stamina mode to help boost your battery. You can have it set up that when you sleep your phone, it won't check for mail, and the very moment that you turn your phone on, it'll check it right away. It's like, oh, you have 3 emails, right? So using their email app actually works better in the Sony ecosystem with their battery stuff and stats and all their other stuff that they offer for their phones. I'll go to Martin for a comment.
And this is similar to what Boxer is doing. Boxer does push notification for your emails, and it shows up in your mailbox. So instead of having Google try to ping Gmail or sync it, even if it's been disabled, I marked off. I just disable Gmail, and it actually fixes that problem, and I get proper sync, proper push whenever I need them.
Yeah, Samsung does that too. They have the push email, and it is nice because then you can control it when you tell your device to go to sleep.
But also another comment on that note is for the inbox and Google, Gmail 5.0, the APIs will be available for these companies to actually piggyback onto it with their own custom whatever layout they're going to put on top of it. So they'll still be able to do whatever they're doing right now once the APIs are available.
Also, I saw today that Yahoo is looking at doing some interesting things with emails as well, like with notifications. And I noticed that Yahoo stopped working with my my Samsung email a while ago. So I think they're trying to lock down a lot more.
We'll have to talk to French.
Come and go on that.
Keeps talking about what he's working on over there. Interesting. All right.
Yeah. Anyways, well, let's move on. I think we've exhausted mail for now. Google is acquisitioning away, and the latest thing they acquisitioned was USB key security. I have one of those things for work, and it's kind of slick. And so Martin's going to talk about that.
Essentially, it's a USB security token similar to your RSA ID token, or if you have like a Scotiabank token, digital token you'd be using. The principle behind it is the same. It's to provide a third layer of authentication when you try to access applications that are provided by Google, such as Gmail, Google+, whichever. The security key offers some advantages over the usual two steps authentication that you usually see, and on top of that, it's going to be compliant with two types of USB key right now. That's pretty much the only thing that's going to be available. Other USB source from manufacturers will be available. It's going to be using the standard FIDO U2F format, as far as I can tell, and it'll just make it easier and more convenient, like a third layer if you need it, especially if you're going to be working on specific apps that Google provides for you. I.e., an example that they gave was enterprise apps. A lot of businesses are going through Google for their email, their web services, and whatnot. So this would allow them to just say, hey, plug in the key, done, they're logged on to their account, they put in their password.
Yeah, I use the one at work, like I said, and it's pretty slick. And do you use them where you are a lot, Martin, or?
Well, I mean, as far as I can tell you, I do have like a two-step verification at work or similar technology. As far for Google, would I make use of it? Probably, if it has an added benefit to me. Already, the two-step that we've talked recently in a couple of articles and even on the last show is more than enough as far as I can tell. I mean, if somebody tries to log into my account, like Sylvain was mentioning, is that I'll get a notification saying, hey, I got a 6-digit PIN here. What the hell? I didn't make that request.
Yeah. I think you're right. It probably is mostly for enterprise. Help out small businesses and get people even more entangled in the Google world.
Exactly, and I think Tom had something to say about that too.
Yeah, this goes back to something we talked about earlier about security and what our Google accounts really have going for us. It's quite alarming how many people don't even know the service exists, and it is a free service. Basically, summing up, it's the second layer of protection. Whenever you sign into your account with an unrecognized computer or whatever, it'll text your phone or the app that you're using, 6-digit code, and you enter it. And as Martin had said, it's also an early detection that if your phone gives you a 6-digit code and you're going, well, I'm sitting on the couch watching TV, somebody's got my password.
Not doing this.
Exactly. So obviously, I need to go change that. Also, it also works for one-time use as well. So if you're at like Future Shop and you're waiting for a buddy, I'll check my email, and then that's a big, big no-no, as we know that, right? But with this key, it kind of stops that, because after you log out, even if it caches your password, still can't get in anyways. But how much do we really have into our Google accounts? I think people underestimate that. If you're using Google Wallet, they can make a purchase. You know, you got your family's photos on there. You got your information, including your address, your mailing ID, your contacts, their addresses, and just it keeps going on and on and on. I mean, my blog access. If my account got hacked, somebody can go and try and manipulate our pages and stuff. I mean, there's more there than what people realize, and they really should be utilizing this two-step system. Martin, you got a comment?
Yeah, and basically people need to think that their Google account is basically like their wallet. If you lose it, what you do, you freak out, call everywhere to get everything canceled. Same principle.
Oh, and you know, Google has, I just turned on the two-factor authentication again, because before it was sort of getting painful. But with this business about with them texting you the number, that makes it so easy. You know, it doesn't matter where you are. Usually you have your phone with you. I didn't really like the Google Authenticator, and I didn't like Authy that much. Like I said in the last show, like I skipped over the pick a password for the cloud, and it never came back. So
We're gonna need to talk, girl.
I don't have that much. Like, really, I only have 2 accounts. I have Google and Dropbox. So I don't know. Everybody's got different levels of security. Everybody also, like, I'm old. There's not that much information about me on the internet because I didn't grow up. My parents didn't put pictures of me when I was 2, getting me my Gmail and everything.
Nice.
I'm okay with that. So moving on, Songza was acquired by Google quite a while ago. I am a big Songza fan, and they are great for curating music. Martin, why don't we talk a little bit more about that?
The fun thing with the with Google and Songza is if you've gotten a new player and you subscribe to All Access, you get the concierge from Songza that now shows up with your Google Play, which allows you to just play random playlists that have been created by numerous people, and you get exactly what you would get out of Songza, but in your Google Play. So you combine 2 applications with 2 great services into one app that does exactly what you need. But like I said, I mean, you do need the all access, and if you don't do that, then you're not gonna get it.
And then what is the? I've always enjoyed using Songza, and I don't have all access. What is the advantage about having all access versus?
The advantage is you get everything they have, like everything, every music. You can pin everything, you can search anything, you can download anything. You have everything.
Oh, so if you get all access, you can download all the music you want.
Yep, you can pin it and listen to it later. You'll get the MP3s, whatever. And Google does allow you to download everything through MP3 format.
Hmm. Can you share it between devices? Well, I guess, yeah. Once you've got your...
Yep.
Yeah,
Up to 10 it's up to 10 devices.
Yeah, and I've never been... Like, I'm not that much into paying for music like that because either it comes in... My husband spends a lot on CDs, or I just like just listening and hearing stuff. So, what about you guys? Ryan, Tom, do you guys pay for something like that?
I pay for both. I pay all access and Sony's unlimited because I really like. I'm always conflicted. I like both services. Google has a better inventory of music, but Sony handles playlists better, and they have a thing called Sense Me. And it basically analyzes all your music based on beats per second or per minute, however they do that, and they'll actually categorize it energetic or mellow or whatever moves. So you have to gym, whatever, select the gym and only play music that are high beats and really energetic. Also, they categorize the songs you play most, the songs you skip the most, and they kind of pop those in the back of the list so you don't really get those as often. So it's really integrated in how they really design that, and Google doesn't really have that. But Google has the new material design, which people are going nutty for, and they just have a much better way of downloading. Like, for example, Sony, I can cache music to my primary storage on my phone, but not an SD card, where that starts to become a problem. Where Sony, you can cache to an SD card.
Yeah,
which
Google you can now.
I mean, I got 16 gigs. I mean, probably 11 of what I can use. After my apps, I have 8, right? And that's not a lot of music. I don't want to be burning data all that much, right? So that's where Google, I mean, that's where I'm conflicted anyways. I'm talking too much. I'll go to Martin.
So one of the things you people have to be remembered about All Access is if you listen to mainstream stuff, you will find everything you need on the Google Play All Access. Problem is, example for me, everything I listen to is remixes by DJs which are not out at this present time. They'll be out in several months from now. There's no point for me to have it. So I might as well just go to my favorite DJ website or go to Beatport. I can buy the song for $1.99 and I have it right now instead of having to wait in the Play Store 6 months from now.
Yeah, and like I get satellite, or
Serious?
satellite radio. Serious. I got it with. We've had it for a long time because Fred listened to O and A and now whatever it is, and I got it with the Ford, and then I ended up getting used to having it. So it's really hard for me to now think, well, I'm gonna get another service that streams music. So, like, with the Sony one, Tom, now that I'm thinking that I'm going to get a Sony phone, do you upload your music to that as well? Or
No,
is it
that's
a
another
blocker,
side.
or is it just
To Google, you can kind of put your own music on the cloud and then fill in the holes that might be there. Where Sony is, if it
just
doesn't
their
exist,
music?
you have to physically put it on your phone, and then they kind of commingle together. I know
That's okay too.
it works just fine, but I'm trying to get away from the acquiring my music from the shady spots. I'm trying to be like all straight arrow, right? And that's where all
Now
access
that you're a parent.
right? Yeah, I've downloaded a little bit of music, right? And I'm trying to get away from that. I know the time is running out, and it's going to be very, very, very punishable very soon. So I'm trying to kind of get away from that. So that's where I'm paying both. I'm trying to figure out which one's going to win my heart. Do I want to go for the really nice UI of Sony or the more functional Google? And I'm having a hard time deciding that.
Good points. Well, I think with the songs that feature, that's certainly going to. I'll have to see when I get the Sony phone, and then satellite radio, Google Play.
I'm tempted to go back to All Access just because of the concierge mode for songs, because I really, really liked it, and that's really the only reason why I'd go back.
Yeah, although you can just use the Songs app still.
Then you have to have 2 apps. Ooh.
Exactly.
No, I'm having the same issue. My big thing is that I don't have Wi-Fi in my office. So in order for me to take advantage of All Access or Songs and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I can't do it with Songs, but with All Access, I'd have to pin everything before I go to the office to listen to it. So I'm more of a spur of the moment. I want to listen to something.
Yeah, I keep a lot of stuff on SD card. Let's wrap this up. Tom, you get the last comment.
Yeah, another thing I was just mentioning about UI is when I use Google's Music, you got that black border where your buttons are, and then of course on your status bar. Well, because it's Sony on Sony, it actually fills in the status bar and the buttons as well. So it kind of allows you to use all the screen rather than having black borders everywhere. And then just, you guys know that from me from my routing days. I'm all about screen real estate, so that's what captures me. Anyways, that's all I'll talk about this.
Okay, let us move on. Well, we had our Hangout last Wednesday, and we did talk about the Nexus devices a lot. But now a little more news has come out about Lollipop, the next version, and it is a huge upgrade, so you can see why they did finally move to a different letter. Ryan, you're going to talk about you've updated our databases. Who is getting Lollipop?
Yeah, you know me. I love my database. I love being able to keep that database. I'm just been going through it. I'm like, man, this thing's getting huge. A big, huge database. Which devices got, ice cream sandwich way back when to now worrying about getting Lollipop. So, I'm not a big fan of leaks now, but what we have heard officially is that Sony Z series stuff, so Xperia Z items, are going to be getting that sometime in the near future, potentially. I think we were saying January 20th. January 2015 for that. You also heard that the HTC M1, M7, and M8 will be getting it again by January time-ish.
Nope.
So those are some devices that will be getting that.
Sooner than that, Ryan. The
Um,
GP edition for HTC M7 is scheduled for the 3rd of November.
3rd of November.
Wow.
Wow, good beat on them. Well, no, 3rd of November is when Lollipop is officially dropping.
And that's when HTC is releasing their GP edition.
Oh, okay, the Google edition. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sense
Google,
version is only planned for January.
yeah, so the Sense versions. But we found, we've heard some rumblings before. Obviously the LG Nexus 4, Nexus 5, the Nexus 7, 10, all of them are all going to get Lollipop as well. But I put a link up there for a leak. And you know me, I don't like leaks, but in the same sense, it gives you some pretty good ideas of what timelines might be. Like for the new Galaxy Note 4, they're saying February 2015. The Note 3 would be April of 2015. The S5 would be February. The S4 would be April. And again, that's sort of the baseline. Your carrier might be longer than that. The Alpha would be February. Motorola, well, that's another thing. We heard Motorola for sure is going to do both Motorola Gs, both editions, and Motorola Xs are going to get the update. They're going to probably looking at November, December time, because again, they're as closest to stock. They're pretty close. We have G3 and G2 are getting their devices probably around April of 2015. So again, I put most of the stuff on our database page if you want to go check it out and see. Hopefully it's sooner than that. We said that November 3rd is tipped as the official day that things are going to be dropped for the official Lollipop. So those of you who are looking for OTAs on your Nexus devices might be getting it around that time, or you could flash the official build. The other question we heard was Chainfire made a big post about how Lollipop is looking at bringing in much more security aspects, i.e., so locking down the bootloaders to be able to not run a specific script to allow you to have root access. So long as OEMs are out there are not allowing you to unlock your bootloader, chances are you won't be able to flash a specific kernel for your device, which will then allow you to flash a different bootloader somewhere different there. So potentially, root won't look like the way it's supposed to, or might take a different form in the next little while.
So, I don't know. I think we had talked before about how much all of us are into root. Android has come along, and you have to think that if they allow this root access, they're sort of leaving a backdoor for the NSA, which nobody seems to want, and they're going to encryption more. So, Martin, you had a comment on this?
Yeah, I mean, if Lollipop coming out the way it's supposed to and programmers are using the SDK as needed, with the way that the permissions are now set up with the different API levels, there should be no need for root. Several applications I've been looking at, let's say root call blocker I'm using on my phone, requires root on KitKat 444. But if implemented properly over on Lollipop, it won't require any root application level. A lot of the apps will not need root if they're actually programmed properly using the proper APIs.
What about things like Titanium backup? Like I know Helium already does an ADB onto your computer. Will Lollipop allow that?
No, there will be no backup apps allowed. They'll be removed from what I understand from the Play Store.
Even Helium?
Yep.
Wow. So they are going to provide a backup service?
Nope, the backup service is your app data, which is already synced to your Google.
That's what I meant by a backup service. I hope it's better, because I hate losing all my beam levels.
Lollipop has that new touch to beam feature, so you can take an old, here's my G2, I'm going to update to 3, tap them together, and someone was telling me how immediately the file folders and everything came over to the new phone.
Yep.
But I thought that was only if the other phone was on Lollipop.
Yeah, they both have to be on Lollipop.
Yeah, well, not everyone updates their phones that fast. What were you going to say, Tom?
I was going to say I tend to agree with Martin. Android has grown in a way where root's no longer necessary, in my opinion. The only thing I would use it for is what I said a long time ago is ad blockers. A lot of apps are way too aggressive with ads, and it gets where it's a little bit ridiculous, to be honest. I would gladly pay 99 cents, $2 just to get those ads out of there, but some apps don't offer that. It's ads only. In terms of backing up, I really think a lot of people will probably start leaning towards what Sony did here, and that's they have their own backup service right built into the phone. You can back up all the core apps, including third-party apps. You can back them up to your phone, and then even to the SD card, and you can even back them up like somewhere else to a computer. It's built in. I mean, so if you want to format, do whatever, you're not going to lose your saved data as long as you're smart enough to back up. And I think Samsung probably, if they don't already, probably should.
They have that as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I keep forgetting.
You know, I've been a big Samsung guy for a while. I should have known that. But it's just, I think a lot of people will start doing that more. And Google, I'm surprised they don't have that already. Back in my iPhone days, 4 years ago, your games saved to the iTunes. You
like
your phone, it updates your music, your play counts, all your saved games goes onto your computer. You never lost your stuff. That was 4 years ago. Why can't Google find a way to do this?
They are slowly but surely. Like, I plug my games in and get my that. So, anyways.
I mean, I'm flashing often as it is nowadays that rebuilding my phone to exactly look the way it is now, it'll take me about approximately 30 minutes. Everything's backed up, all the programs are downloaded, and all the app data is back to where it was. That's half an hour.
Third-party launchers you can back up. I know Mighty Text backs up all my texts, apparently somewhere. You know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Some scary location that
Some offshore cat.
Shady stuff, Cass. Shady.
I know. Convenience is everything. Okay, so we don't seem to be that concerned about lockdown. Are we agreed on that? Rooting just isn't as important as it used to be?
If what Martin is saying is right, I'm not concerned as much. And I need it primarily for exposed and screen recording, but it looks like that might be answered in Lollipop anyways.
Well, and you never know, too. I know one reason why people like Samsung a lot was because they were so hacker-friendly before. You know, it's up to the OEMs on whether or not they want to lock down that bootloader. So
exactly.
You never know what they may decide as a feature for being a selling point. So,
quite true.
One thing that was announced last week that we didn't really talk about was the Google Player. That's going to be replacing Google TV, is it?
Well, Google TV never really. Well, I mean, it didn't really die either. It never really took off.
But it was there.
It was there. There was the Sam's. There's my Logitech review. There was the Sony. There was two Sony boxes. Mark and Tom, you guys had those, right? The NS7s or whatever.
Yep, we both still have them.
Yeah. So this is the new Android TV box. So there was the ADT1 Developer Edition that came out there, but this is the first commercially available one. This is the Asus developed Google Player Nexus Player. Sorry. So $100, and in Canada it's $110. The controller, if you want to buy it, is an extra $50. So, but buying the box itself, you're looking, it was $142 after taxes and shipping. I almost bought it, but by the time I realized it was up for sale, it was already sold out, which was kind of.
That's what Mark was saying too. It's
I really want to try. I really want to try that out. I mean, I would miss, I think, though, is the fact that my son has gotten very good at using. He picks up the Logitech keyboard and starts using it, and he knows how to navigate everything through it. So the way the remote looks, it looks very much like a Wii remote wand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it has the microphone and so forth. So you wouldn't need to use a keyboard. I don't know how well I trust that to say certain TV shows or whatever, right? Like how well would it do? Cutthroat Kitchen. Too well.
Hopefully it works better than that call home on the Ford.
No, you hate that. And I mean, then I'm starting to get a little bit more used to using the OK Google feature on my watch. So So I mean, I'm getting a little better talking to it. And Dean does cheat now and again, especially on his phone. He gets his phone and he wants to watch YouTube. He'll be like, instead of typing, Google, Pokemon, and like, it spells it for him. So I'm like, damn it, Google, you're ruining his spelling abilities.
Well, actually, speaking of that, I use mine especially for reminding me. Like I'll actually get to the point where I'm going, okay, Google, I gotta unlock it, and I do my reminders all the time by voice. I am amazed at how well it does with context. And I read a review. It must have been a study that said that most of the people that do voice commands are in their 20s and younger.
Do you use Keep or Evernote, or what do you use for your notes?
Pardon me?
What do you use to keep your notes?
Oh, reminders, I'm just using Google Now. I don't use Keep.
But doesn't it put it into Keep? Doesn't it put it into Keep?
I don't know where it puts it. It's, that part is so fragmented. As far as I can tell, it just goes into Google Now. That's the only place it goes. And you just go to the bottom and look at reminders, and there it is.
Yeah, and the Google one, like the Google Now, has really outperformed Siri and Cortana. Like they're saying bounds above it right now. So pretty cool. I mean, for $142 without the gamepad, I'm really debating about it. For me, it's more of like, should I just get the gamepad too for an extra $50? I can play games on it. I don't know. My Logitech review is really looking old, and it's really looking time to replace it. So I'll try it out.
Is it putty colored?
Pardon?
Or silver? Is it putty colored or silver, or like one of those old tech colors?
No, it's black.
Still fit in with?
It's black. It's sleek black. It fits there, but it's one of those things. It's really showing its age in terms of responsiveness and slowness. It was one of those first Intel type devices, so it was just pain.
Well, let's wrap up the news. We're sort of going on and on here. You guys are going to not be here next week because you'll be in Toronto for Android TO.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most?
To be honest with you, it's going to be a chance hopefully to meet with some more OEMs. So LG is going to be there. Sony's going to be at the event itself. Motorola, Sony, Samsung have talked about getting a chance to sit down and meet with them. But again, talk to other people at the booths, the other developers, the other hardware developers, and talk to other people that are there. I mean, I think it's a really good networking opportunity to see other people who share your passion about Android. It is more developer-based, but in the same sense, pretty cool people, like all Android fans.
Yep, and it's going to be interesting to see what's going to be happening for Android in Toronto and what's really featured in Canada Android-wise. And like Ryan said, I mean, we're going to be going there to see if we can connect with some of the OEMs, some of the app developers, and whatnot. So we did pretty well last year.
Yeah. So just a last comment I will say about Android TO is that if you are thinking of going, again, there is an Coliseum 99 code you can use, saves you $26 to go. So it's only $100 to go to the event. And yeah, I mean, and there's a chance that they're giving away 5 Android Wear watches. So if you can win one of 5 Android Wear watches. So you can go, okay, Google, how tall is a CN Tower?
Exactly.
Did I hear an answer?
No, the watch doesn't speak an answer, but it's 450 meters.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I think that's our news. So let's move on to ROM updates. Updates of the week. ROM updates. So, Martin, you've been messing around with Cyanogen Mod. Tell us a little bit about that.
There he is twice.
Yeah, I see that. Just
Yeah,
one of them talk.
For some reason, Google decided it was dropping me tonight.
So tell us about Cyanogen Mod 11S.
All right, Cyanogen Mod 11S is basically the one that's been released on the OnePlus One, and it's currently running on my HTC One, and I'm not going to complain about it. It's faster than the original Cyanogen Mod 11, and by faster I mean almost by 20% faster.
Wow, That's a lot faster.
Yeah. Do you know what they did to it? Is just faster on every aspect. The only thing I have to kind of slap CyanogenMod's head about this is that their backend kernel does not boot as fast as their original CM11. That's it. But once the phone is started,
I
it
was
is
going to say,
faster.
yeah, it just is a little bit of boot up time. So, and then we have Android Wear got a firmware update, and
Yeah.
Ryan, you have one.
I finally got it today. It was kind of nice. So what I like about it is now that normally what used to happen when I had my watch cover, you would have a little card that would cover the. Come on, turn on. You would have a cover that would cover half the bottom of the screen if you still had a card available. I always hated getting rid of my cards because I have to call them back later on. So I left them there, but they always cover the last half of the screen. So I'm using this watch face only because it was the only one that didn't cover anything up if I had a card in there. So now, if you have cards, you can just swipe down and you get the full watch face, which is kind of nice. And then you can also say, if I go into the settings now, I can actually, there's a tab just for play music that I can bring up play music. And it's, I don't know if you can see, it's saying now it's pulling up on my phone, it's going to play. And I can go, where's my play music? One of these cards is going to be my play music, somewhere around here. Yeah, so I have my play music card, and then I can also, what used to be, you just have play, stop only there. I can swipe over, and now I have volume controls.
They only just brought that out?
Volume controls and, back and forth, so yeah.
I'm just going to say that my Gear Fit came with volume controls.
I bet you did. Yeah.
Yeah, so the
that's been out for a long time.
I know, it's one of those things like, really? But then again, this is the first generation. Samsung's made a couple devices already, so.
They've only made one of these, and they've already abandoned it. And it's a great device.
I really liked it. It was a cool band. So anyways. Other than that, we'll go on to the app updates. So some of the app updates we saw last week, obviously Google Play Music had a just sexy-looking update. We had Nova Launcher brought itself to look more like a Lollipop Launcher. Hangouts had an update. Some ones I did. Angry Birds Epic has more levels, now go to level 37. Yay. Google Keyboard had an update for a little more fluidity. They moved the microphone over to a little corner up there instead. Google Opinion Rewards has updated, so now you can see how much money you've made on doing those surveys. I've made $11 over the past year or whatever.
A year?
Or whatever it is, whatever. It's a couple games. Right? Anyways, that's the ones I think. Martin, you did some more of those. Add those in there, eh?
Yeah, I've got a couple of those as of now. I mean, I've made at least $10.
No, but the app updates. Sorry, app updates.
Oh, the app updates. For the app updates, yeah, there's a few of them in there. We've got the Safe and Cloud updated recently this week. CF Lumen as well. Chainfire made a couple of updates to that, which improved the performance of it. Boxer again this week. They made some changes where the actual push notification is almost instant now, versus where they would be having a couple of delays because I could see it coming to my inbox, and then about 5 minutes later it would show up on my phone. We've got SD Made, which basically is, clears out the content of your cache file, your access folders, and whatnot. Twitter made some nice little improvements to their UI. Nothing major for me. Solid Explorer made some changes to their backend and improved the performance of their app, and that's all I got.
Okay. And speaking of Twitter, I had read they were thinking of going to two-factor authorization, where they do the same thing and they send you. Why am I echoing?
It's already been enabled for me, so whenever I log into a new machine and I log onto Twitter, I get a text message saying, "Hey, here's your 6-digit code and enjoy."
They pretty much had to do that because they had to take away the power from the celebrities to bash the president. Oh, I got hacked. So now they can't do that anymore.
So everyone is now responsible for their feed.
Pretty much.
Oh, now if they could only reveal those really mean, horrible people that target other people.
That'd be a start.
Yeah. So, tip of the week.
I put the tip of the week in there as, I don't know if any of you guys are exposed mod fans. I love exposed mods. I mean, there's little tweaks here and there that you can put anything you need to have a root for. I just found out that apparently exposed doesn't work on art. I was going to put my phone in art mode, and it just kept going, nope, straight back into the regular thing. I'm like, what the heck? And so I told me, yeah, so I mean, you have to do a bit of a dance to say, what do I want, art, and that nice responsiveness of art, or do I want to have exposed mods? And I'm really debating about getting rid of my exposed mods and going just to art to see, just to get that little bit of extra battery boost I'm going to have out of my device.
That's going to be a non-issue when Lollipop comes out because it's all
I was just going to
ART.
say that.
So exposed is kicked to the curb.
Actually, no, it's not.
No, you think they can get it running?
Yep, they've already have it running on Lollipop.
Really?
Yep, it's been
Nice.
running. It was something in 2 articles I saw earlier this week. The next version of Exposed is only going to be available on Art for Lollipop.
And it is art running.
Yep.
That's cool.
So somebody's
Good.
been actively developing it in the background.
Do I
So that
wait?
means it's already root then for Lollipop, the unrooted
Well, or they're not going to rely on root.
No, Exposed is definitely relying on Root, and Root has been achieved about 2 weeks ago on for Lollipop,
Huh.
and it's
That's
been
interesting.
it's been implemented by Chainfire with his new update for the Super SU.
Right, but there's a lot more things he was saying. Anyways, we'll leave that for now.
Yeah, let's move on. We had an Android Coliseum a couple weeks ago, but not last week. So we've got 10 minutes to say who the winner was, go through our apps for this week, and carry on with
I
our
think that one
evenings.
was just you and Martin, was it?
No, I think it was more than me and Martin.
It was Cass and Sylvain. You and Sylvain.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Must
Yeah,
have been
you and Sylvain back to bed. But you guys didn't post the links. You did, so we don't know.
That's us. Well, that's because we didn't actually know how to do a Hangout even. Like,
Yeah.
I've never known how, and we just sort of struggled through and chatted.
No
Not
worries.
about Apple.
Yeah.
It was a tie.
He was a
Yes,
tie.
that's right. It was a tie. It doesn't matter who wins that stuff. I just like hearing about other people's apps. And speaking of which, let's do some apps. We'll start at the bottom with Martin and then go through our list upward. So,
Really?
Martin.
Already?
Yes.
All right, so my app is Terra Battle, and it's going to be a game. It's a tactical game similar to Final Fantasy Tactics, except they brought in the RPG aspect and the card aspect to it. So if you've ever played like a card game similar to Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic the Gathering, I'd say it's probably closer to Magic the Gathering. It's actually pretty neat, and hopefully we can do a screen share of your barbecue screen sharing. It would be nice if it worked this time. A Hangout.
I haven't tried that anymore.
I know, right? Let's see if you guys can see my screen. Is it a white screen again?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is white.
Alright, so apparently barbecue screencast sharing is not working anymore. So we'll screw.
You set up as administrator, you're like given greater privileges.
Yep, it's got everything on it. But I'll go with the website instead, then you'll get the principle behind it. Alright. Let's open that up.
Oh, I got many sharings.
Okay.
Alright. Gotta grab the right website. Alright, so Terra Battle is basically a game that's based on the card characters, and as from the image you can see here, you've got your different characters with your different levels and the different types of characters you get. Some are magicians like this one, some are bow and arrows, you've got some spears, some fighters with swords, and depending on how you do your attacks, you can get combo powers as you get down here. But and also, the game is to defeat the enemies in the quickest way possible with the shortest amount of moves, because the more the characters are able to move around, the quicker you'll die. Trust me. And the principle behind it is that the sword is able to damage bows faster. The bows are able to damage the spears faster, and so it's like a big circle of if you do your combos in the correct order, you can maximize the damage you're going to be doing. And you get all sorts of crazy bonuses, all sorts of characters, and it just keeps going further and further. And where I'm at in the game right now on my tablet, I'm at the point where I'm level 25, and I'm still getting my ass handed down by level 12 monsters. But it gets really interesting and really challenging the further on you get. And it actually, I picked this game up from one of the Asian guys that takes the bus in the morning. He was playing that game, and I really got hooked to it. I've been playing that for a while now. That's my app for this Hangout.
Excellent. So a really interesting battle game. What about you, Tom? Is that a dance one?
All right. No, it's not a dance one.
Oh, bust move. I was just thinking dancing.
An old classic. Let's see. Where's my screen? There it is. Okay. So back in the day, before PlayStation and Nintendo 64, and all those kids were playing all day. Okay, so anyways, back in the day in the arcades, we were playing Street Fighter and all that stuff, and we kept seeing this game called Bust a Move, right? And of course, 10, like, oh, Bust a Move, that seems lame, let's not play that, right? Anyway, so one day we tried it, and it was crazy addicting. So it's one of those puzzle games where you're going to shoot your colored bubbles, got to match 3, pop them, make combos, and the Play Store is littered with knockoffs. Well, these are the actual guys who started this. This is the original. And basically it ties into Facebook, and you can challenge your friends, get a high score. Like when I'm playing the game, I can actually see who's got the highest score, the next 5 people in line for the list, and if you beat them, you can challenge the guy below saying, I beat your score, come take the lead from me again, right? And it's free. There is things you can purchase, but not like a lot of free games. You don't need to purchase to get through the game. It's just kind of little fun things here and there. And it's not over excessive with banners and everything. It's actually a really cool app. And if you played this game as a kid, you will love to play it on your phone. And my wife's like, I do, right? So we like shoot bubbles and challenge each other all the time once in a while, right? So it's all good. I mean, it's free, and you don't gotta pump quarters into this one. So it's Bust a Move Island. It is crazy addicting if you're into these kind of puzzle adventure games, I guess you could call it. Anyways, that's my app.
Doesn't look like the Bubble Pop guy. Was it Bubble Pop?
Yeah, there used to be one with dinosaurs too. So
yeah, that one's it's like Bubble Bobble or something like that. And then of course you have Zuma, which is like the other kind of weird thing. It's like basically you're shooting balls up in the air with like a moving snake. And again, these are all variations of this game that started it all.
Cool.
I remember the arcade game of that one.
Yeah, man. We all do. I'm sure we all do. We've had to play it once in a while.
Okay, so Ryan, is Camera 51 a game? It doesn't sound like a game.
So the one I'm using here is called Camera 51. This is a bit of a throwback to when I graduated from university. One of the things I wanted to do to basically start expanding my other side of my brain, which I did a lot of science, was doing photography. And so talking to friends about photography and how to take great pictures, it's always hard. I always had a hard time. I understood the science of f-stop aperture, but I didn't quite get the idea of how to compose properly. Camera 51 is an app that will help you compose the right picture. So as I take a picture, let's see if something comes up. So what I'm supposed to do to be the right composed picture is I line up that, and that it sort of has specific guidelines and sort of rules for it to know what would make a good picture. And as you move it around, it should help you. That's what I'm taking. You're seeing my messy desk, right? So we're trying to figure out what would be the right amount of negative space and lines in the picture. So it's just, again, one of the little things that if you take away, say, selfies, or you take stuff like that, it really helps you figure out what's the best way, or how it should look the best. Yeah, it's a good, nice starter point for that guy. So that's called Camera 51. All right, she's got to deal with a cat dog. So yeah, so you can use it as a selfie. Which would have come in handy, as I met David Chilton the other night, that I could set it up as a selfie, and again, line up has again same thing. It lets you line up exactly the best way to get your shot to make. It tells you to move back or not in a selfie.
Does it tell you to look down so you're, you always look better when you look slightly down, makes you have.
Does it say do the duck face?
Duck face. It probably would say something like you need to be shot. That'd be a great
Extend lips, duck face.
Selfie mode, looking good. It says.
Wow.
All right, let's move on. My dogs have started to stop barking now. Gee. Okay, so my app is called Snowball. It's in beta right now, so it doesn't have a lot of things added in yet. I know Martin's been looking at this too. What it is it puts a little icon to the side of your screen, and then you can pull it out and check your messages, or when you have messages, it'll just pop up, and then it does a floating screen over it. So it does, you don't add things in. It just figures out what you're using for things like SMS, and it does Hangouts, also does Facebook, WhatsApp, a bunch of other stuff. I put in a request for BBM, so we'll see if that works. And it just does a floating window, and it has everything in one place. There's the little guy there. It's a nice app, floats on top. It's kind of handy to have everything in the same place. So that's what I'm using, giving it a shot. I do like it.
Cool.
I don't expect a lot of votes, so.
I like the idea of that the popover mess. I really like that chat hits. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I was using floatifications for a long time, and then it sort of stopped working. So I don't know what happened with that. Might have been something I did.
Or it just died.
I don't think so. Maybe. Anyways, this one seems like a nice. This has a nice feature. It doesn't take up a lot of screen space unless you're actually looking at it, and that's the part I like. So, if you're looking for something for notifications for your chat, not anything else. And that's another thing too. That is all I want notifications for. So.
Exactly.
Yes. So there you have it. We have 4 apps for you to try, a couple games, Terra Battle and Bust a Move Island, and then Ryan gave us some help with picture composition, and I have a communications app. So see which ones you like. Give us a vote. I think Ryan has posted links, right?
Post them to our Twitter, our Facebook, and our Google Plus pages. So look for the hashtag #Coliseum. Plus one of the ones you like. We'll put it in a post tomorrow for you to see, and we'll see who wins this round.
Yay.
Yeah, and we're not sure when the next Hangout will be. It might not be next week because these guys might be they'll be in Toronto, probably having too much fun to come and hang out. So,
I'll be getting off the airplane.
That's still fun.
Oh,
I could be slightly drunk.
Could you imagine? Welcome to Android Coliseum, live at Android TO, with a big selfie and much people behind desk and everything.
I mean,
And duck face.
I mean, technically during the day we can.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do that. I don't have. We should have Wi-Fi at ours. That'd be cool. Well, keep in mind.
Well, we'll see if Sylvain can join us next week, and if he can, I think Tom and I will be here.
Yeah, we can get 3 people. I'll do my very best to be in.
Technically, there's going to be me, Ryan, and Siobhan over in Toronto. We could pull off an Android Coliseum at Android TO.
Yeah,
Yes,
you guys would probably
on a
lose
special day.
some wandering around, lose some, like, I don't know. I don't want you miss out chances like get free stuff or talk to people, and you're there for like 1 day. You probably should absorb and get as much as you can out of it, rather
Oh,
than
of course.
There's so much to try to take in a 1 day. I mean, I'm debating about whether I should just skip out of some of the sessions to talk more to the people.
Honestly, I think by the time we got to the afternoon, we skipped maybe 1 or 2 sessions in the afternoon. Me and Ryan last year.
That's always a lot when you go to a one-day event.
Yeah, they cram a lot in 1 day trip there.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap that up. Everybody want to say goodbyes?
All right, have a good night, guys.
Good night.
So you guys stay safe, Ottawa.
Yep, Cass's dog say good night as well.
All right, take care, people.
Yeah.